Find your quiet place. Let the noise of your day fade into a distant hum. You are about to step out of your time and into another. A story is waiting in the darkness. A life you have not yet lived. A choice you have not yet made. Take a slow, deep breath and let go. The story is now ready for you. Hey there, sleepyhead. Welcome. Tonight, you are about to walk through the golden halls of Mali centuries ago, in a kingdom of rivers and sun-warmed sands, where the Niger glints like molten light across the land. Lie back, breathe deep, and let the wind from the Sahel stir across your mind. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the scent of spices and millet in the marketplace, and the distant echo of drums carrying messages across the savannah. You are born into the royal household, your first cry mingling with the rustle of palm leaves and the low murmur of the river. The palace is alive with soft silk garments, polished wood, and golden accents that catch the light with every movement. This is not a story of battles and crowns alone, though they are ever present. It is a story of quiet observation, of lessons learned in shadows and sunlight, of the delicate power a princess wields in whispered words and patient gaze. From the earliest hours, you are taught the ways of the palace, how to move with grace along the stone corridors, how to notice every gesture, every glance, the subtle messages carried in a bow or a shift of weight. Your tutors arrive, bringing with them scrolls, oral histories, and the wisdom of generations. One, a kind-faced elder named Babatunde, leads you to an open-air observatory on the highest palace roof one evening. He speaks of distant kingdoms, of rivers far beyond your view. But tonight, he speaks of the stars. He points a long, slender finger to the sky, tracing the patterns that sailors and caravan masters use to navigate. A true leader, he whispers, his voice like dry leaves rustling, does not only look at the path before her feet, she understands the map above her head. The stars do not shout their guidance. They offer it quietly to those patient enough to look up and listen. You learn the names of constellations that your people have known for centuries, stories woven into the fabric of the night. Each star is a destination, each cluster a chapter in the celestial story. Each lesson is a key to a vast, shimmering tapestry of knowledge, a reminder that the greatest truths are often the most silent. In the gardens, you wander among hibiscus and bougainvillea, the water flowing from fountains, whispering softly, almost as if it knows the secrets of your heart. Each petal, each leaf, a story waiting for you to notice. Your hand brushes over carved wood, over polished stone, and the gold jewelry that will one day signify your station. You feel the weight of possibility in every touch, the careful balance of heritage and destiny pressing gently, insistently. You learn the rhythms of the palace, the rise and fall of servants' footsteps, the murmur of advisors in the corridors, the soft laughter of siblings echoing across courtyards. Each sound, a note in a symphony that has played for centuries and will continue long after your own story fades. At night, the stars above Mali stretch endlessly, glittering against the deep velvet of sky. You lie on your mat, listening to the river's gentle pulse, and you feel yourself part of a lineage that flows like the water, enduring patient, wise. Every dream carries hints of the future, a festival of light on the river, the arrival of emissaries from distant lands, the careful dance of courtly etiquette that will one day be your own performance, gentle but commanding. And now, sleepyhead, as you drift further, know that this story is not only about royalty and riches. It is about perception, patience, and the quiet power of observation. Every choice you make, every thought you nurture, becomes a part of the vast river of time in which your story flows. You are no longer a child, sleepyhead, though the palace still seems larger than any place you have ever known. The sun climbs higher, warming the golden stones of the courtyard. You walk with purpose now, your hands brushing against silken walls, your eyes catching the subtle flicker of candlelight, the glint of jewelry that has been worn for centuries. One afternoon you are granted permission to visit the great market with your handmaidens. The sounds and smells are a wonderful assault on the senses. The air is thick with the scent of dried fish from the river, roasting nuts, and fragrant pyramids of spices, cumin, coriander, and grains of paradise. You see merchants who have crossed the great desert, their faces weathered by sun and wind, bartering slabs of salt from Tagaza for sacks of gold dust weighed on delicate scales. Their voices are a low hum of a dozen different languages, a living testament to the reach of your kingdom. You move through the crowds, a simple veil covering your face, allowing you the freedom of anonymity. You watch a weaver's hands fly across a loom, creating intricate patterns in vibrant indigo and crimson threads. You pause by a food vendor, the sweet smell of fried plantains and honey cakes making your mouth water. This is the heartbeat of your people, a rhythm of commerce, craft, and community. You realize that to understand the palace, you must also understand the market, for one cannot exist without the other. It is a lesson in connection, a humbling reminder that the kingdom is a body and every person is a vital part of its lifeblood. Your lessons grow more complex. You are taught to read not only words, but people, the ministers, the emissaries, the musicians. Every glance and every pause carries meaning, a hidden language you are learning to speak without words. In the evenings you sit beside your tutors, listening to tales of great kings and queens, of deserts crossed and rivers sailed, of kingdoms conquered and alliances forged. One night, you are summoned to the great hall, not for a lesson, but to listen. A royal griot has arrived, a master historian and musician whose lineage is as old as the empire itself. He sits on a low stool, a magnificent kora resting in his lap. As his fingers dance across the 21 strings, a sound like liquid starlight fills the hall. He begins to chant the epic of Sundiata, the Lion King, the founder of your empire. His voice is a powerful, melodic river, rising and falling with the drama of the story, of a boy who could not walk, who rose to unite a people and build a legacy. You don't just hear the story, you feel it. The vibrations of the kora seem to resonate with the stones of the palace, with the very history in your blood. You watch the faces of the elders in the room, their eyes closed, nodding softly as they live the tale anew. You learn that history is not just a collection of facts on a scroll. It is a living, breathing song, a rhythm that must be felt to be understood. The griot's performance ends, leaving a profound silence in its wake. In that silence, you understand that your life is but one string on the chora of history, and your duty is to play your note with grace and wisdom. The gardens are your sanctuary. Bougainvillea drapes like a cascade of color, and the fountains gurgle soft melodies that lull the mind. You wander here in quiet contemplation, feeling the pulse of the palace around you, a living organism that hums with rituals, intentions, and the gentle sway of tradition. At times, you witness small rivalries. A young, boastful prince from a neighboring kingdom arrives for a festival. He speaks loudly of his skill in horsemanship and challenges your brothers. They, in turn, puff out their chests. But you observe. You notice the prince's nervous grip on his cup, the way his eyes dart around seeking approval. He is not arrogant. He is insecure. Later, instead of engaging in the rivalry, you quietly compliment the intricate weaving of his robes, asking about the artisans of his homeland. His posture softens. His boasting ceases. He speaks with pride about his people's craft. You have not won a contest. You have forged a connection, a lesson in disarming with grace, not with force. After the prince departs, your mother, the queen, summons you to her private garden. She sits beside a lotus pond, her presence as calm and deep as the water itself. She does not speak of the prince directly. Instead, she points to a dragonfly hovering over the water. "Power, my daughter," she says softly, "is not the storm that shakes the tree. It is the wind that bends the reeds without breaking them." You saw the boy's fear, not his pride. You offered him dignity, not a challenge. That is a strength 1,000 swords cannot conquer. Remember that. A whisper of kindness can redirect a river of pride. Her words settle in your heart, a profound lesson on the quiet, immense power wielded by women of wisdom. And yet, there is wonder everywhere. You feel yourself breathing not just in air, but in history, in culture, in the very essence of your people's endurance and wisdom. You begin to realize that patience is power, silence is power, observation is power. And here, sleepyhead, the palace and the world beyond blend into a gentle rhythm, a lullaby of light and shadow, of warmth and cool evening breezes, of the pulse of generations flowing around you, guiding you, protecting you, and allowing you to become who you are meant to be. You are no longer just a student of the palace, sleepyhead. You are becoming its pulse, subtle but present, felt in the quiet corners and the wide sunlit halls alike. The elders begin to speak to you directly now, not just in lessons, but in counsel. They share the histories of battles won and lost, of alliances carefully woven, of traditions that bind the people together like threads in a vast golden tapestry. You listen, absorbing their stories, feeling the weight and the wonder of each decision carried across centuries. One morning you are given your first small, official duty. A caravan of Tuareg merchants has arrived from the north, their camels laden with salt, textiles, and precious books from across the desert. It is your task to formally greet their leader. You do not command or demand. You welcome him, offering cool water and sweet dates. You ask about his journey, not about his goods. You listen to his stories of the shifting sands and the night sky. Through this simple act of hospitality and genuine curiosity, you learn more about the northern trade routes than any scroll could have taught you. Power, you learn again, is not always about what you say, but about how well you listen. Another afternoon, you spend time in the scriptorium, where the royal calligraphers work. The room is silent except for the faint scratching of reeds on papyrus and the soft sigh of brushes on vellum. An old master, his hands steady despite his age, invites you to sit. He shows you how to grind malachite for green ink, how to prepare the page with a smooth stone. He places a reed in your hand and guides your first stroke. It is clumsy, imperfect. You feel a flush of embarrassment, but he only smiles. The first stroke is a question, he says. The next is an answer. It is a conversation with the page. It requires no voice, only focus and a quiet heart. This, too, is how a kingdom is governed, with careful, deliberate strokes. You spend the afternoon in quiet focus, finding a deep, meditative peace in the simple act of creation. Evenings are long and slow, spent in the palace gardens. Night descends gently, cooling the stones. From your window you see the Niger glimmering, carrying the light of the moon along its winding path. You feel a connection to the river, to your ancestors, to the distant voices of queens and kings whose lives ripple forward to touch your own. Sometimes you are called to witness moments of decision. You are not yet responsible, but you watch closely, letting the quiet gravity of these events seep into your understanding. You sense the interwoven web of duty and compassion, of wisdom and patience that guides this palace, this kingdom, this life. In these days, sleepyhead, you begin to dream not just of yourself, but of your people. You imagine how a word, a smile, a carefully chosen gesture could shape not just a single moment, but generations yet to come. Even as your influence grows, the palace itself becomes a friend. Its shadows cradle you, its stones hum with memory. You understand that power is subtle. Like the gentle current of a river, it is there, constant, shaping life quietly, invisibly, without fanfare. Time flows differently within these walls. Sleepyhead. You move from girlhood into the quiet bloom of adulthood, each season teaching you more about patience, observation, and the gentle ways of leadership. The palace feels alive under your feet. Every room carries a memory, and you walk among them as both observer and participant, learning the rhythm of history, the pulse of culture, and the weight of quiet responsibility. You spend hours in the libraries, the shelves heavy with scrolls, the faint scent of ink and old paper filling the air. You read the words of ancestors, scribes, and travelers. Their knowledge seeps into you, layering your mind with the wisdom of centuries, as if you are a vessel carrying the echoes of all those who came before you. One day, the queen leads you into a small, quiet chamber you have never seen before. On a silk cushion rests a single object, the ceremonial fly whisk of the past queens. It is not made of gold or jewels, but of simple horsehair and an intricately carved wooden handle, worn smooth by the hands of your grandmothers. Your mother does not speak. She simply nods for you to pick it up. It is heavier than you expect, not with physical weight, but with the weight of the stories it holds. You run your fingers over the carved handle, feeling the indentations left by hands that guided the empire, that comforted children, that signed treaties. You hold in your hand a symbol not of command, but of presence, of the quiet authority to create calm and brush away conflict. It is a profound silent lesson in the true nature of your heritage. That night, you return to the observatory alone. You look up at the same stars your tutor, Babatunde, showed you years ago, but you see them differently now. You no longer see just the shapes and stories. You see the living map of your world. That star is not just a point of light. It is the guiding beacon for the salt caravans from Taghaza. That constellation does not just look like a river. It marks the season for planting millet along the real river below. The sky is no longer just a beautiful canopy. It is a scroll of wisdom, a guide for survival, a clock for the seasons of your kingdom. Your knowledge has deepened from learning to seeing, from seeing to understanding, and in that quiet understanding you feel a profound and peaceful connection to everything. Evenings are for the gardens, where the stars peer softly through the leaves, and the Niger glimmers in the moonlight. You walk slowly, barefoot, feeling the warmth of the earth. Each breath connects you to this world and its history, a reminder that patience and reflection are forms of power. Visitors arrive, bearing gifts. You greet them with measured grace, listening more than speaking. Your understanding grows not through force, but through quiet attention and gentle insight. The elders continue to counsel you, though now less as instructors and more as witnesses to your growth. You absorb every word, not with anxiety, but with serene awareness. At night, you find a quiet room in the palace high above the gardens. From the windows, the stars shimmer like distant lanterns guiding your thoughts. You sit alone, letting the soft sounds of the palace lull your mind. The rustle of leaves, the faint drip of water, the distant chant of the river, all become a gentle rhythm, a lullaby of history and life. Dreams come easily in these nights, sleepyhead. You dream not of danger, but of possibility. You see the ancestors smiling, guiding your steps. You float along the river, past the markets and courtyards, past the libraries and gardens, each place infused with memory and wonder. You reflect on the lessons you have learned, the subtlety of influence, the power of patience, the importance of observation, and the serenity that comes from understanding your place within something greater than yourself. You realize that your life is not marked by loud victories, but by the quiet, persistent weaving of wisdom into the world around you. And so, sleepyhead, as you close your eyes tonight, let yourself drift in the rhythm of the palace, in the gentle hum of the Niger, in the soft glow of lanterns across gardens and libraries. Let the knowledge, patience, and wonder you have felt wash over you, carrying you gently into sleep. Before you leave this story, take a slow, deep breath and carry this quiet place with you. If you felt the warmth of these golden halls, let us know by liking this story. To hear more whispers of time and always find your way back, subscribe and let the river's gentle current guide you. In the quiet space below, tell us, what is the first lesson you would learn in this palace, and where should our journey drift to next? Lie back now, sleepyhead, breathe deeply, and let the world of the Mali Palace, of rivers and stars, of gardens and libraries, lull you into a serene and gentle sleep.